On today's episode of Busting Bro Science with Team Massive Joes, we're looking at if it fits your macros versus the bro way of eating, or the health and fitness way of eating, which is eating strict, eating clean, and having no flexibility.
Man, this is something that comes up all the time. If it fits your macros, it's just gone absolutely nuts.
It has exploded, and look, I can understand why, because the traditional way of eating, and you've got a very old mate who still advocates this, chicken, lettuce, chicken, broccoli, and look, that's so outdated. But I'm not really convinced that if it fits your macros is the way to go.
So, is it okay if I eat sour squirms instead of a chicken breast? That's what I want to know.
If it fits your macros.
Yeah, well, that's what I suppose. That's what I'm getting at. Is that okay for me to do?
So then, what we're going to do to the next show that we're going to do together is, instead of having our good quality WPI in water, let's add Coke.
Exactly. Sour squirms. We might as well just blend it all together.
Why not?
Coke, Nutrigrain, sour squirms, because it does. If it fits our macros, we're good to go.
And look, you try it before I do, okay? So you can be the experimenter. Now, for those of you watching who don't know what if it fits your macros, what it means is someone is calculating a number, and I'll get to this in a moment because this can be part of the problem.
Yep.
We're calculating a calorie or a caloric value, a daily value that is going to give you a body fat reduction. Now, there's many sort of segments or ways to do if it fits your macros. So some people will say, I'll eat absolutely anything to fit that number. And then over time, there have been a certain percentage of the fitness population that say, well, look,
where they actually care about like their protein intake as well.
Yeah. So they'll say, look, let's get the protein intake right first. We'll calculate that, and then we'll get the carbohydrates and fats. So for those of you who don't know, if it fits your macros, protein, fats, carbs, a total macro value, and you can eat whatever you want as long as it fits that macro value.
Yeah. So it's quite easy to break it down. Like that's pretty much what it is. But are we advocates of it? Like, do we, what's our thoughts on if it fits your macros? Would we rather have sour squirms post-workout, or would we rather have like our rice flakes like we normally have? And what's got better health benefits?
Well, I don't know. I actually like sour squirms. I couldn't tell you last time I ate them, but they are nice.
Well, exactly. We would enjoy to eat this kind of food, every day. Well, would we? I don't know.
I don't think so.
But it does have that short little, that feel-good feeling.
High, yeah.
Of course, has that sugar high. But now we're kind of talking about the health side effects and effects of having this kind of food.
Look, before we get into that, and what Jake's getting to is, a calorie isn't necessarily a calorie.
No.
Everything on this table here, despite, Nutrigrain having a 4 health stars. I don't know what that rating is, like Energy Stars or the washing machine.
Exactly, and these sour squirms have no artificial colours or flavours, so they're good.
Oh, there must be, yeah. So honestly, that there is calorie dense, nutrient poor, which is a big problem. And this is where weight gain comes in. But look, first of all, from my side of things, and we've spent a lot of time together over a long time, there is no one size fits all for everybody.
Yeah.
So if it fits your macros, I certainly don't follow it, and I don't encourage anyone else to, but there are still some people, and we do know a few people, who do have good results from it.
Definitely.
But the health problems, as Jake was getting to, is there is no nutritional benefit outside of macro value. So there's no micronutrient value, there's vitamins, there's minerals, there's things then that can have a knock-on effect to hormone balances, imbalances, and then, we've got insulin response, which all of these things are a totally separate topic. But when you follow an if it fits your macros general sort of rule plan, you're missing all that.
Of course. I think we're trying to get the most out. Like, we still have our treats here and there. We earn our treats. If we diet for 6 days of the week, and then, or even 7 days of the week, and then just have one of those meals or 2 of those meals is, a little bit off, that's okay for us to do. But I couldn't imagine having, white bread for breakfast every morning, bleached white bread, white flour, donuts, Toblerone, chocolate, Nutrigrain. Like, people are doing this every day on if it fits your macros.
Oh, they are. And look, there's even worse. I've seen people deep frying ice cream, deep frying Mars bars. I mean, so if we look at a fat, once we deep fry something, we're adding oxidation. So we've got now trans fats. Trans fats are the precursors to mental illness, so many other issues that we've got. So we love avocados. We eat so many avocados.
Of course.
They're a fat, but they are not in the trans fat group. So the nutrient value is different.
And I suppose we can probably eat more food, more of it, if we're eating clean calories.
Well, yeah.
You know, whereas if we were to eat anything on this table, we've probably already hit that calorie macro goal that we've set in just, you know, a bag of these or a box of this.
Ooh.
You know, whereas if we were just eating sweet potato and rice and chicken breast and things, we could actually enjoy our food a lot more and space it out over the whole day.
Definitely.
Rather than have, I suppose, this big high and then crash.
And that's the other thing, another important point. So nutrient timing is very important. Now, if you follow the blase, if it fits your macros to just get that number, you could eat that in one meal, and that's okay. So then you don't eat for the rest of the day as long as you get that number. And we know by experience, we know from patients, we know from clients, we know from a range of things that if you then go all day without eating apart from one meal, it's going to cause a lot of problems.
Yeah, of course.
You know?
So whether you like to eat ice cream while you're training, sitting on the bench press, eating out of a tub of Ben & Jerry's, or you like to just eat, you know, rather clean and you're just adding in some extra calories here and there, if it fits your macros, there's no kind of, you know, exact plan or how to do it. It's more or less that you're taking in less calories than your expenditure and you're still losing body fat.
Well, yeah, look, you have to be in a deficit to lose body fat, that's right.
Yeah.
And like I say, I can understand where, if it fits your macros, where it came from, because the chicken and broccoli and chicken and lettuce, it's so outdated, it doesn't have to be that way. And even you used, and we can use it amongst ourselves, a diet quite easily, but most people shouldn't be on a diet because a diet implies it finishes, rather a food plan. And I like numbers, we know this. So if we're eating 6 meals a day, 7 days a week, 42 a week, if 38 of them are spot on the money, and the other few are not bad, and I don't mean atrocious, you should never be eating large amounts of trans fats, it just is what it is. But you can get away with things.
Definitely.
The problem is though, we had a major weight loss company enter Australia and it took it by storm. They had weigh-ins and all this stuff. Yeah. So this point system allowed morbidly obese people to have chocolate muffins.
Yeah. It's like giving them the okay. You know, go and eat chocolate. You're overweight, you're obese.
Inadvertently, it is, because people are then saying, well, I have this, and we've got satiety signals, which are hunger signals. So people eat this absolute garbage that's on the table here, and they're instantly hungry not long after. How many times, and I've seen you do it, you'll open a packet of chocolate something or other, and you just keep eating.
You can't
and
stop.
I've done it myself. You've got insulin response, you're feeling great for that
exactly.
minute.
It releases all those feel-good hormones.
And then you feel disastrous 10 minutes later.
Yeah, unless you keep going.
Yeah, but it's bad.
Exactly.
It's bad. So I think the mental aspect where people are going, oh, if it fits your macros, it's allowing me this flexibility. But like the old saying, give people an inch and they take a mile. So I don't know. I think there's a problem with morbidly obese people eating these sorts of foods.
I think so too, because the whole thing is trying to get the sugar and all that out of their diet. Because obviously they've got a problem with sugar.
And let's give another analogy here, or another example rather. White refined sugar compared to a starch carbohydrate. So they're different. You know, and we're going to go over that in another video anyhow. But if it fits your macros, if you follow it, even including some good vegetables, including good quality foods, I don't think it works for most people, because most people, you give that inch and they take a mile. For some people it does work well. But remember, food plans or diets per se don't have to be boring.
No.
They can have plenty of flavour.
Exactly.
And, you know, how many times have we told people, a chicken thigh, so, you know, there's some fats in there, tastes nice, it's never going to taste like Toblerone cheesecake.
No,
never. So don't pretend that it will.
No. Like for me, I would much prefer to just eat clean pretty much all week and have that one meal or one night a week where I go and have my splurge in junk food or, you know, whatever I feel.
Yeah, but even then you don't need that.
I don't need that, no. I would much rather just go out and have like a nice mixed grill or something like that, and maybe a little bit of ice cream if I have some dessert.
Sure.
But yeah, nothing like this. It would just make me feel like absolute rubbish.
And that's the other point too. I mean, irrespective of other nutritional values, vitamins, minerals, all the rest of it, feeling like absolute crap and then being fatigued. I mean, this is fatigue. I mean, I don't know how many of you guys sneeze regularly or need to blow your nose, but have homogenised milk and you'll be blowing it all day. I mean, it is phlegm producing.
Exactly. And to be able to advertise this as a sports drink.
Well, it has ion, and those who have done any science can know what an ion is. But I mean, it's electrolytes and it looks a little bit scientific. We've got some molecule there.
But if you break break it down, it's just all sugar.
It's rubbish.
Yeah.
The only time that's good is if you need an intravenous administration of fluid because you're dehydrated, then go for it. Other than that, you don't. And look, I don't want to get into the paleo way of eating or anything like that right now, but we have seen removing sugar from diets, removing starch, removing those food groups. Body fat has just come off. And anyone who has followed me or has been in contact with me will know I don't advocate any carbohydrates unless you're an athlete. You don't need them. Your liver will produce it if need be. And all they are is weight gain.
Yes, definitely. So that's our take on if it fits your macros.
Yeah.
You know,
I think, as we've said, it does apply to some, works well.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think we're giving an inch, people are taking a mile.
Definitely.
And I haven't seen anyone who's in really, really good shape consistently doing that, let's just eat anything.
No.
And I've seen patients with blood work that's not great. There's issues with large amounts of sugar and all the rest of it. I don't think it's a healthy way of eating, and I struggle to find anyone who's got credible evidence to show the health benefits from it.
Oh, definitely.
Anyone can produce an exception that someone's leaner, but if you're not healthy and you're lean, that's a problem.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. That's where I see the big problem with this. Yeah, could I get leaner doing this? Yeah, I probably could, but I just don't. I want to eat nutritional dense foods.
Yeah. It's fine to have the calorie dense, but let's have nutritional dense. This is, as I said before, it is calorie rich, nutrient poor, and that's a bad relationship. And that's our take on if it fits your macros versus the typical bro way of eating.
Exactly.